Welcome in and welcome back to Sports.
A network.
I'm Scramble James,
I'm Kenny S.
and it's trade deadline time in the
Trade deadline.
NHL.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is being filmed Thursday, March 5th. The deadline is tomorrow. We're going to go over some deals that the Colorado Avalanche have made, as well as looking at deals that have been done in the rest of the league and some potential free agents or people under contract on the move.
Yeah, to be specific, 3 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow is the trade deadline. So we have a little bit of time for some more action, but there's been a little bit in the Avs camp so far. So maybe we start by talking about that and move on to the wider league.
Yeah, that sounds great. But before we start, go ahead and give a like to this video and subscribe to our channel. Follow us on the socials. That really helps us out. And that way we'll be able to get you some more content pertaining to sports and especially to hockey. So
also feel free to leave comments. Let us know what your thoughts are on trades, prospective trades, and yeah, just anything you have to think about hockey. That'd be great.
Yeah. So let's start with the trade deadline for the Avs so far. The Colorado Avalanche, which you can tell via our hats, is Kenny and I's favorite team. So the big deal today, they got Nicholas Waugh for a 2027 conditional first that is top 10 protected and a 2026 fifth round pick, which is the later of the two fifth round picks that they had for 2026.
A bit of a controversial, at least in the Avs sphere, I would say it's a bit of a controversial trade. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think everyone's stoked? Do you think there's quite a bit of, ooh, I don't know about this? I'm of the camp of I believe in CMAC, and I think he almost always makes the right call. So I don't know why he would do something egregious, but yeah, what are your thoughts on this trade?
Yeah, I think that they paid a little too much for Nicholas Waugh, but I also think that Nicholas Waugh is a proven playoff performer, and he was instrumental in Vegas's cup run. And it certainly solidifies them down the middle. Now you have McKinnon as your one, Brock Nelson as your two, Nicholas Waugh as your three, and then Jack Drury as your four. And so your center line is looking really, really tight and very difficult to play against. You have, McKinnon obviously bringing his world class talent, but then you have Brock Nelson, who's offensively and defensively super sound. You have Nicholas Waugh, who is a total grinder and can score goals, but can also really hold it down on the defensive end. And then you have Jack Drury, who's super solid defensively, and is like in terms of a fourth line center is elite in that sort of demographic when viewing it just as the fourth line, right?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think this is a great acquisition. I also agree we paid a little much, but we have him through 2026, 2027 season. So we have him for another year. It's not like he's just going to go away at the end of the season. So that's good. But yeah, I think we paid a little too much. And as we were talking a little bit before this podcast, is that it seems that the Avs are paying quite a bit for a lot of these trades, maybe more than other teams. Who knows? Maybe that's because they're at the top of the mountain.
Yeah, I mean, with that, we're talking, the Kulak deal. It felt a little brutal to give away a second in addition to Sammy G. I think the Blankenberg deal that just happened, a 2027 fifth round is a fine.
Yeah,
like that. That is actually going to be an awesome deal potentially, depending on how Blankenberg plays and if they're able to re-sign him. But yeah, between the Nicholas Waugh deal and the Brett Kulak deal, it does seem like the Avs are paying a little bit more when you compare it to Dallas and Minnesota, who it seems like they're getting their guys for one draft pick at the most, and it's not, very high, of course, except for the Quinn Hughes trade where Minnesota threw everything and the kitchen sink at it, But yeah, I think for the Nicholas Waugh trade, I am overall pretty happy with the trade for this year. I think one of the biggest concerns that you mentioned before we started filming is that he's one of the slowest players in the league. and the Avalanche play a very fast style. And we've seen in the past when they have slow players, those slow players do not perform well in Colorado because they can't keep up with the system.
And especially
so
for
that,
the center to be the slow one is like, whoo, okay.
yeah,
But in CMAC, we trust.
We kind of have to. I think this is one of those trades that it'll get judged on if they win.
Yeah.
You know, it's like one of those things.
Greatest deal ever. If we lose a cup, people are going to be coming back talking about this in the Kulak trade. Let's be honest.
If we get knocked out in the first or second round again, you're certainly going to be pretty upset that you gave up a conditional first round for Nicholas Waugh. So that, like you mentioned, he is signed for one more year, and he's only signed at $3 million.
That's what I was going to bring up next. Yeah.
So that is like, that's a good thing right there. You're kind of stoked that you have that kind of tiered, center depth where you have MacKinnon at, over 11, and you have Brock Nelson at 7.5, I believe, and then you have Nicholas Waugh at $3 million. And they've got to re-sign Jack Drury, and Jack Drury's hoping to get in that $3.5 million mark. But if Nicholas Waugh is making $3 million, then how are you going to pay Jack Drury more than Nicholas Waugh? You're probably not. So you're probably looking to get Jack Drury around that 2.5 to 3 million mark, and we'll see what happens there. But it kind of sets up a nice little tiered salary, rate for each line center.
Yeah, and I kind of want to talk a little bit about what we gave up here. So I think on its face, you see conditional first round and fifth round pick, and you kind of raise your eyebrows. But I also want to bring to attention that like the Avs aren't necessarily trying to go out and get a bunch of guys to develop. They're trying to win now, next year, maybe the year after. You know what I mean? So while it is a lot, I don't think it's as bad as maybe it looks on paper.
Yeah, and the fifth rounder is like, I have no problem with the fifth rounder. They traded away their own fifth rounder. That's going to be super deep in the fifth round. And the Avs are terrible at drafting late anyways. So the odds that the Avs get a serviceable NHLer of any kind with that draft pick is very low.
Yeah. Yeah.
So from that perspective, it's really just the first. And you're right. They're in a win now mode. They're not in a let's develop talent and see what happens. So, but first round picks do carry weight. And I think that the feeling of it being expensive is just that you would like them to use that weight to get somebody a little bit sexier than Nicholas Waugh.
Totally.
Right. Because let's face it, this ends the Nazem Kadri chase.
Woo!
Yeah.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that. Yeah. The Naz Kadri talks and trade rumors.
No way.
I do want to say, I think if we get Nicholas Waugh from Vegas Golden Knights, Nicholas Waugh versus Toronto Maple Leafs, Nicholas Waugh, I think we're going to be super stoked, to be honest.
We're going to be stoked.
And players tend to play much better in Colorado when they come. So yeah. That's kind of what I have to say about that trade.
I personally get a good vibe from this trade. I think he's going to fit right in. He's going to help the PK. He's going to help our defensive end, and he's going to make it where we don't have Zakhar Bardakov playing in the playoffs. And we're going to have a more experienced kind of bottom six heading into the playoff run, which fingers crossed Logan O'Connor comes back.
I'm back, my friend.
Yeah. So let's move on to the Blankenburg deal. Yeah. Do you have anything to say about the Blankenburg deal off the top?
Just, pretty cheap asset to get $775,000 cap hit. He expires this year, so we'll see if we re-sign him or what happens there. 27 D-man. I don't have a lot of insight into this player as I haven't really followed his career. But yeah, overall, I think it's pretty good. I don't think it was super expensive. I don't, again, we're back to this fifth round draft pick. Avs suck at drafting late, so I don't think we overpaid. Yeah, I think this is going to turn out to be pretty well here.
Which again, they traded away their own pick. They have another pick from
Right.
the San Jose Sharks, so it's going to be super late in the fifth round. I love this deal. I think this is a great deal because you had your seventh D man as Jack Ashawn right now for the Avs, and if anyone gets hurt in the D core in the playoffs or heading into the playoffs, and you have to play Jack Ashawn in a playoff series,
you're not stoked.
I'm stressing about that. Yeah. And Nick Blankenburg, I mean, he's not a standout defenseman, but he's a player that has been playing real minutes in Nashville for the last 2 years. He's been playing well. He's a good puck mover. He's small. He's 5'9". So it's basically I was listening to the DMVR podcast earlier today, and someone in their chat wrote, "Goodbye, Samuel Girard. Hello, Samuel Girard," because they like basically got a small D man that fits this very similar mold to Sammy G. Right. However, Blankenburg is maybe a little bit better puck mover, and he's definitely a lot more feisty than
better
Sam
goal
Girard.
Scorer too. Let's look at the stats from 2024 to 2025 season. In 60 games, he had 4 goals, 12 assists, 16 total points. This year, thus far, in 49 games, he has 6 goals, 15 assists, and 21 points. Better than Sammy G was doing. So
yeah, Sammy G's having a rough one
this year.
He's
no slouch, you know, and for less than $1 million. Great totally. Acquisition.
And this is where, like, you know, like next year, you think about you have Brent Burns on an expiring contract, right? He's not signed for next year. You have who else? It's Brent Burns. It's Brett Kulak. So you have Kulak and Burns both on expiring deals. And so you look at Blankenburg, it's like, well, could he potentially fill that third line defensive role with Malinsky next year, and we sign him for cheap, right? Could he move from the 7th D-man to the 6th D-man slot, and we try to work around the edges next year to get another 7th before the playoffs? But as far as like paying a 5th rounder for a solid 7th defenseman heading into a playoff run that you're hoping is a very deep playoff run, I think this is a great piece of business, and I would do every single day. So, do you want to move on to the Kulak trade?
Yeah. This was a pretty, I feel like not surprising to me. I kind of saw Sammy G on his way out of Colorado. He's kind of had a rough year, like we said. Interestingly enough, I think he is injured right now for the Penguins, so he's not even playing for them. But I think the first couple games, Kulak you can tell he's still slotting in. I've seen him get burnt a couple times, so I'm like, ooh, okay. But I think overall this is good. It opened up $2 million in cap for the Avs to make some of these other trades. We did trade a 2nd rounder in 2028 with Sammy G for him, so that's something to look at. He's also 32, getting older. As you said, his contract expires this year. So just kind of some things to look at. Those are usually kind of the first things I look at when I'm looking at a trade is like, all right, how long do we have this guy? How old is he? How will it fit the system? And what's the cap hit? So,
ESPN had a great little write-up about this trade where the Avs signed Sammy G to a 7-year, $35 million contract. And he's in the 6th year of paying him $5 million a year. And they signed him to that when Sammy G was playing top line minutes. And since then, the Avs have acquired Cale Makar and Devon Toews. And so what you've ended up with is a player that just has drifted down your lineup and your depth chart to the point where now, at the point where he was traded, Sammy G really had his spot taken by Sam Malinsky.
That's what I was.
So it was Cale and Toews took his spot, and then Burns and Manson took his spot, and then Sam Malinsky took his spot, and then you're going to pay $3 million for a bottom pair $5 million for a bottom pair defenseman? No way.
No.
So to get Kulak at 2.75 million and get that 2.25 million back on your cap right before the trade deadline, that's why they had to include
Right.
the 2028 second
And
round
especially
pick.
on a team that's already squeezed for cap space. I mean,
Totally.
it's like cap space is very valuable,
Yeah.
almost more than a second round 2028 pick. So
Yeah.
those are kind of some of my thoughts on it. Overall, I'm happy with the trade. I I think it always takes time for players to fit into the app system. I've kind of noticed that over the last few years. No one really just moves over and jumps right in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
We'll
good
see too.
overall.
Like Gerard is an overall better player than Kulak
Mm-hmm.
when you take all factors in, but we'll see how Kulak fits in. And then if we get the Kulak that the Oilers had on their last two cup runs, we're going to be really happy.
Right.
And it's again one of those things where it's just like we're preparing for a long playoff run, and this guy fit what the Avs needed to round out their bottom six of their bottom four of the defense.
Totally.
Give them some net front presence and a little bit more solid actual defense where Sammy G kind of gets abused in front of the net. He's a great puck mover, great skater.
Yeah.
He like moves things and he can like drive play, but he cannot defend in his own zone. And Kulak can. And so that's where that comes in.
Totally.
So, but yeah, so that's kind of where the Avs are at now. So lineup wise, let's maybe see if we can get the Colorado Avalanche lines. Because you're going to end up with Landy, McKinnon, Necas on the top.
Yeah. Which let's stop there real quick and talk about that.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of this. I honestly I could see Val Nichushkin slotting in there for where Gabe is, but either way, I like having the physical presence on that top line. Lehkonen has been great, but I like to see a little bit more of a brute on that top line with those guys. So
yeah, and Lecky's week to week. That's actually some drama. Where is Lecky going to be back for playoffs? And if they got it looks like he's going to be okay, because otherwise, if they think he's going to be out the rest of the year, they got to LTIR him and try, because I mean they have until tomorrow to try to replace him, right? So that's some last minute drama. But yeah, you move Valeri up and put the choo-choo train with McKinnon.
I've always liked their connection. I have always been a little surprised why Bednar's went away from it, but there's also been some off the ice stuff that I imagine has contributed to that. So,
yeah, with the way Necas is playing, it's like one of those things where he's playing so good with McKinnon right now. I'm like okay with him staying, but it's like if they have any sort of stretch of time where it's not working, I would love to see Necas go down with Nelson. And play with Val's the right
swap.
wing, so Necas and Val would swap. But yeah, like when McKinnon was out for that game right after the Olympics, you had Nelson, Necas, and Landy play together, and that line was awesome.
Yeah,
it was awesome. So you have some flexibility there. Some potential drama is, do the Avs try to trade Valeri Nichushkin?
Do you want my honest opinion?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
we try make to one up.
I think we try to trade Big Val. I've said this for quite a while. How do I say this? He's a great player. Don't get me wrong. He does a lot of great things. Outside of all the drama, I just think he's not quite living up to what the Avs had hoped. I think he had those couple good years. Obviously, the cup run year, he played incredible. But he just seems to maybe be a step behind. I can't really put my finger on exactly what it is. But he's not quite.
They said on the broadcast last night or 2 nights ago that he's been dealing with a wrist injury, which is the first time I had heard about that. And it seemed like it was just kind of an offhanded conversation that I think Mosier had with Bednar.
Okay.
So I think that has affected his play and kind of creates that step behind feeling. because he's not able to move the puck as well or control it. And then he also hasn't been able to shoot the puck with
Right.
very much effectiveness this year.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. And to be fair, losing Big Val would be a huge loss to the PK.
Yeah.
You know, he does a lot of things that are great outside of scoring goals, but I do think he's a big asset, and I do think people would pay quite a bit for him. So
yeah,
the business,
I agree with that.
at the end of the day.
Yeah, totally.
What are your thoughts? Would you trade keeping him, or is he going?
I really like Big Val.
Okay.
He's a puck hound. He is so good at retrieving pucks. And when you put him with Nelson, they create this it feels almost like an impenetrable force in a way, or like when that the other team is trying to break it out of their D zone and you have Nichushkin hounding you and Nelson there.
Yeah.
And then Lecky playing good positional hockey, because it's a really challenging line to play against. I think that for the right return, I'd totally trade him. He costs $6.5 million, if I'm right, on the cap. And, the Avs are cap strapped. So if they could get the right return for him, but you'd have to land a player that slots in where he slots in
and does some of the things that he does. You
can't trade him for a couple different players that add to your bottom six. You need a top six guy with Val. And I could see them trading Val and like a second or a first, let's see, and then being able to do that in order get someone that's actually an upgrade for Val. So they have 2 seconds in 2027. They have Minnesota's and their own. And so I could see them trying to pair those with a Val trade to land someone like, I don't know, a Jordan Kyrou,
right,
or Jordan Eberle, someone who's going to be a really high skilled player and be able to contribute for you in a way that Val maybe isn't contributing right now. I actually would love to see them trade Val in 2 seconds for Jordan Kyrou.
Oh man, yeah,
I would love that.
That would be sick.
That would be so sick. Jordan Kyrou is a great goal scorer. So I hadn't thought of that before this moment, and now I'm like, do that.
You're all in. Yeah,
do that right now. But
he's available.
But yeah. So, so we'll see what happens there.
Thoughts on Colton?
Thoughts on Colton?
He's playing up. I feel like I have said this for a long time. I would like to see them trade Colton, but
Colton is not doing what you're paying him to do.
Yeah.
You're paying him, I believe, $4 million. And Colton, I think as of today, has gone 33 games without a goal.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
I'm pretty sure that's where it's at. I could be wrong. Don't quote me, everybody. But I think it's been 33 games without a goal for Ross Colton. His body language is bad. He's throwing his head back all the time. Exactly. He like knows he can't catch a break. He's kind of in this cycle right now. And so I would say, I'm like, if they can trade, it's a similar thing to Val. Like they can trade Colton and get someone that can slot in his place in the lineup, right? They can't downgrade in player. They don't have that flexibility. But if they get someone that can slot in and do the job that he does, then you're looking at a positive thing. But if I'm looking at the lines and I'm at Landeskog, McKinnon, Necas as your 1, and then Lecky comes back and you have Lehkonen, Nelson, Nichushkin as your 2, and then your third line is Colton, Nicholas Waugh, and Victor Olofsson.
You're looking a little different.
I'm actually pretty stoked on that third line, and I'm trying to hold on to Colton, which is what like long term. That's the hope for playoffs, is that alignment, right? Because then your fourth line is Parker Kelly. Yeah, Parker Kelly, Jack Drury, and hopefully LOC. And then your 13th forward that you're scratching is Gavin Brindley,
who's sick.
Who's your firebrand, right? Like that guy has been just like an absolute motor. And so that's where in playoffs you get some flexibility where, Okay, Victor Olofsson had a flat game. All right, he's out, Brindley's in, and you can put him. Oh,
Yeah,
Colton had a flat game. All right, he's out, Brindley's in. Right, you kind of have these pieces that you can then add or subtract to be
totally.
able to just play the hot hand in that bottom six, and provide a little competition, which
And
hopefully will make players push.
that's a scary bottom six.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
talk about the best minor team ever.
Hmm.
Those guys are getting pucks. They're playing hard hockey.
Yeah, I was gonna say by minor you mean like mining
Yeah,
pucks, like
yeah,
going
yeah,
out there,
yeah.
digging it out,
Yeah, getting them.
working hard,
Yeah,
and getting pucks by the buckets, basically,
yep.
and
Pucks by the
winning,
buckets.
winning that positive momentum for their team.
Getting shorties. You know, all the things that those guys do.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I honestly, if the Avs like held tight the rest of the trade deadline, I would be okay with that.
Uh huh.
If they found a way to upgrade, like say Nichushkin for Jordan Kyrou, I would not complain about that.
Do
I'd
you?
be real
Yeah.
stoked.
You don't think that Brett Kulak, like they haven't traded for Nicholas Waugh and Brett Kulak to try to buid a bigger deal to get someone better? You think these guys are staying?
I think they're staying.
Me too. I was just
Yeah,
curious. I've read some
I
speculation where people are like, "Oh, they might be McFarland might be playing 4D chess trying to get," but I don't. I think these guys fit pretty well into where they're going to be, and
yeah,
saving some money there.
I think the only player that he'd be maybe doing that with is Nicholas Waugh. I think Kulak's on the team.
Yeah,
They need Kulak right now. When they traded away Solovyov
yeah,
and then obviously swapping Gerard for Kulak, it's like they don't have the defensive depth to get rid of Kulak without getting someone of comparable value back.
yeah.
And at that point, it's like, why are you trading comparable value for comparable value? Like if they were to package Kulak with Waugh to get somebody like Kadri, which they're not going to do.
Right. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah,
Right, but in that
yeah.
hypothetical, right, you're not winning that trade for your roster. Your roster overall is weaker because you only have 5D that can then play
Hmm.
solid minutes, and you just got this awesome seventh defenseman Nick Blankenberg, but that's immediately putting him in, and you're right back in the situation where you have Jack Ashawn as your seven, and you
Yeah,
have an injury, and then all of a sudden Jack Ashawn is playing in the Western Conference Finals against whoever, or the second round against the Stars and just getting lit up. That's not
yeah.
what you want.
No, not
That's
at
how I
all.
feel about that.
Do you want to touch on the Nas
Yeah.
conspiracy? I guess I don't know what you want to call it. The Nas situation.
Yeah. The desire for Avs fans to
I
relive the glory days of
I
the
don't get it.
cup run.
I don't get it. He's a great look. I will say this: I love Nazem Kadri's hockey. I love the way he plays. He's a hard player.
Yeah.
Great fucking hockey player. But I don't understand the desire to have him on the Avs by the fans, and even some of the like sports pundits. I'm just like, yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah. I'm not into it. I love Nazem Kadri just as much as the next Avs fan. I love what he did for our 22 team. I do wish they could have held on to him
Mhm.
after that year. I understand why they couldn't with the cap pressure that they had at that time and not knowing where the cap was going to go. But he's making $7 million a year.
Yeah,
He's 35 years old, which is older than the already seemingly ancient Brock Nelson,
I
uh,
know.
who isn't really that ancient. You know, he just like looks like he's
He does look very old.
survived like the
Yeah,
apocalypse and is like come back. You know, but Kadri kind of has like a younger face. Like you wouldn't think Kadri's older than
totally.
Nelson. Uh, is 35. He's getting paid $7 million. He's got 3 more years of $7 million at 35, so he's going to be 38 by the time this deal is done, and he might still keep producing at the rate that he's at. But he's terrible at defense.
Right.
You're going to have him as your third line center, And you're going to end up in a situation where you have McKinnon, Nelson, Kadri, and then Jack Drury, that's a great line. Offensively, you're so stoked. But what you've done is you've essentially committed, what would that be? That's going to be $30 million to your center depth of your cap, which is like, that's too much. It's too much. Your wings are going to be weak, and you're going to have to pair Kadri with an adult like Lehkonen, like a Nichushkin, somebody that is going to be defensively responsible enough to cover for his lapses, right? And as a third line player, I just don't believe that is the type of balance of a team that is going to win the cup.
Totally.
You need that third line that can shut down other teams. You need that fourth line that can help shut down other teams so that your top line guys can stay fresh and go against the other team's third, fourth line.
I don't see Kadri mining any diamonds. I don't see him out there getting pucks and playing super physical. But I just going back to kind of our chat about Sam Girard, like we weren't okay with putting Sam Girard as the third or fourth pairing at $5 million. So why would we be okay with $7 million as your third or fourth line center? It just doesn't. The math doesn't math there, in my opinion.
Totally. As they stand, the Avs still have currently they have 6.7 in cap space, but projected they have 1.5 because that includes Burns' bonus and LOC coming back. So they have a little less cap than the current space looks like. But currently you're like, okay, well, if you trade Colton or if you trade Nichushkin, you can theoretically take back 1.5 mil, which if you're trading Nichushkin at 6.5, all of a sudden you can afford an $8 million player.
Mm-hmm.
And that player might really move the needle for you, where with the awesome balanced center depth that they have, where if they move for Kadri, you kind of eliminate a lot of that extra cap space. And I don't feel like you're improving the roster as a whole. You're really just addressing a center line and weakening the overall balance of the line.
And making the fans happy, let's be honest.
Which is important.
That was some fan fiction, I feel like. But yeah, of course.
I'd be bummed.
Like, I still cheer for him. Like, I still hope he wins when he's not playing against the Avs.
I still like the guy. Like even if they did trade for him, and I was like, I hate this trade, I'm still gonna pull
I'll be like, sick. Him,
we'll be like, heck yeah, Nas, all right, So, but all right, cool. So that's the Avs. We should move on to the rest of the league.
We're doing that thing where we get real excited and talk for too long.
Yeah, we just chat. Yeah. So let's chat about some of the other deals that have gone on in the league. The most recent of which that happened kind of just before we got on this call is left wing Michael Bunting to Dallas from Nashville for a 2026 third round pick.
Can we just have like a moratorium on trading with Dallas? Can people just stop doing that for a while? Please stop giving them fucking players.
Yeah. Especially for cheap.
Yeah.
A third rounder for Michael Bunting. I mean, he's on an expiring contract, but like this guy's got 13 goals, 18 assists. Yeah. He's a freaking hound. He is like a total like dog on a bone kind of player. He's going to
slot in well. I think he's going to slot in very well in Dallas, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, I am not a Dallas. Obviously, I'm not a Dallas Stars fan. I would like to see the Dallas Stars make the worst trades possible. But this is a great trade by Jim Mill. This is a great trade. He nailed it. Third rounder for this dude. That's like I was talking about that with Blankenburg. I do this every day. I would do this trade every day. I wish that what's his name for the Avs? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking is the GM's name right now. What's the GM of the Avs?
Chris McFarland?
Yeah. I'm wishing that McFarland. Thank you. I ADHD brain.
It's all good, dude. Yeah.
Temporary memory blindness. But yeah, I wish that McFarland would have made this trade. Bunting can play left or right wing. He's got flexibility. He's good size. He can skate. Great tenacity. And only cost a third rounder. Like, what's not to love?
Yeah, great trade. Unfortunate it was Dallas.
Yeah,
I did. I
yeah,
honestly didn't even know this happened because I was getting ready for this, and yeah, you had mentioned it, and I was like, oh, interesting. But
yeah, yeah. So that's a great trade for Dallas. Next trade that we're going to talk about is the Dickinson and Colton to Edmonton from Chicago for Andrew Mangiapane and a 2027 first, where Chicago retained 2.125 million of Dickinson's contract.
wow,
Yeah. What do you think?
must be nice to have cap space.
Yeah, Chicago
yeah,
retaining.
yeah, like yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, they're stoked. But the Oilers are stoked. This was a good
Yeah,
trade for them. Uh yeah, kind of getting a prospect with Colton Dock and then Jason Dickinson is a great third center behind McDavid and Draisaitl.
yeah.
You're getting more depth. So, it's like the
Yeah,
Oilers
the
are
question is, can they
this is a
play
big
defense?
upgrade.
Because I don't think the
Dick,
Oilers need. Yeah, hear me out. I don't think they need offense. I don't think that's the Oilers'
right.
problem right now. I think it's more that they play terrible defense and honestly haven't had the greatest goalies in the last few years. So
Yeah, I mean, that's part of what Dickinson brings to his game. Like he can PK, he's good defensively, he's a responsible center who can
yeah,
also create some offense on the other end. He's a hard worker. He's not like a small guy. He's 6 foot 185 is what he's listed. So he's pretty like solid on height. He's not large, he's not
okay,
small, but he's got 100 shorthanded minutes, or he's got over 100 shorthanded minutes for the fourth
wow,
straight season.
that's
So
awesome.
like this dude plays
He's a worker.
PK.
Yeah,
Yeah. And so yeah, I think that's part of why they brought him in, is because they needed somebody who could kind of boost their defensive abilities.
hmm
And they're like, we're good on offense. We have McDavid and Draisaitl
right.
and Ryan and Nugent Hopkins, and like they're doing great. So
Yeah,
yeah, offensively, defensively, they're a mess. But yeah, I think that Dickinson helps them
okay,
overall with that. And then from the Blackhawks perspective, it's like they got Mangiapane, which we'll see if they try to rehab him. Mangiapane has had a bad year with the Oilers, so we'll see if they try to keep him and rehab him and then flip him in the future, kind of like San Jose did with like Mackenzie
right.
Blackwood and a bunch of other players, right? And then they also got a first out of it. So as far as Chicago and their rebuilding track, they're stoked. So I think this is a win-win kind of
Yeah,
trade.
and according to Puckpedia, the Chicago Blackhawks actually have the most current space available.
Oh
Um,
wow, yeah,
and the most projected space available at the end of the season. So it's
they're just
interesting.
like, we're holding it down. Yeah,
They have
they're
a
gonna
they have
have.
it says their current space is 60 million and then projected space is 13 million. I'm assuming because of injuries and stuff like that. But I mean 13 million to play with when you already have a young, good roster already. Like
Yeah,
they're building something good over there in Chicago, I think.
yeah, they're gonna have some money disappear. They're gonna have to sign Spencer Knight, and they're gonna have to
Yeah.
give Bedard a extension,
A
and
chunk, yeah.
but they have space, flexibility, draft picks. Like they're on the path
hmm
to be real good. 5 years down the line, we might be looking at Chicago and San Jose as the two dominant powers in the Western Conference, which
Yep.
would be crazy. But that's the ebb and flow of a solid salary capped league.
Yep.
Um,
Okay.
all right,
Moving
moving
on.
on to the next one. We got Mackenzie Weegar going from Calgary to Utah for defenseman Oli Mata, center Jonathan Castagna, and 2026 second rounders.
Wow. That's a
Yeah,
big move. That's a big move.
huge
There's
haul for
a lot of
Calgary.
stuff going on there. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I, I like this trade for Calgary.
I was gonna say
They
Calgary.
got pieces, and they're like, "What are you doing up there? Like you might as well sell the house.
Yep.
Your house is falling apart. It's a total rebuild." So it's kind of like they got some. 3 second rounders is a lot of draft capital. Oli Mata is a good player. And I don't know much about Castagna.
I don't
but
either.
but yeah, and then as far as Utah is concerned, they're saying we're here to stay. This is something that they're planting a flag, and they're saying that we have a team, and we're going to keep adding to that team.
Yep.
And now you have Sergachev and Uyghur on your back end, and you're looking decently dangerous with that. So this is kind of a thing that I think moves the needle a little bit for Utah. And especially as you look kind of to next year and beyond. It's something where this could make Utah be more in the mix. It's going to be hard for them with Dallas, Minnesota, and Colorado ahead of them peaking right now. But maybe Utah has a year in there with as those teams start to decline.
Yeah, and Uyghur he's in year 3 of 8. So
he's under contract.
They have him for a while. Yeah.
And Mata's under contract for 2 more years.
Yep.
And can play either left or right, So I think what Calgary's going to do is, I think this is a guy they're going to flip next year.
Yep.
Because Calgary's going to be garbage next year. And so it's like, he's going to be 32 next year, and you flip Oli Mata at the deadline, and you get maybe a first, you get maybe a three more seconds. It's like you can really keep adding draft picks with Mata. So all right, moving on. We've got Dallas moving for Myers from Vancouver for a 2027 second rounder, a 2029 fourth rounder, and Vancouver retained $1.5 million of Myers' contract, which is about half of the contract.
Dang.
Again, it's just like, why are you guys doing deals with Dallas? Stop it.
The boogeyman.
Cut it out. Yeah. This is another good trade, I think, by Jim Nill. It's just one of those things where it's like, the Stars have been weak defensively this year, and their depth has come into the question on the forward side partially because of injuries. So by adding this huge 6'8" defenseman in Tyler Myers, and the Stars are trying to shore up their defensive depth, just like they're doing with adding Michael Bunting on the front end. Right.
Yeah. And, honestly, I don't think this is too terrible for Vancouver either. They're clearly in a full rebuild phase. So they're just trying to stack up assets, see, what they can pull off in the draft. So I don't think this is absolutely terrible for them.
Yeah.
But they're definitely sellers. So not surprising.
Yeah. This is an interesting stat. The Stars entered Wednesday, so yesterday, as the 3rd tallest and 4th heaviest roster in the NHL. And that was before adding Tyler Myers, who's 6'8" and 229 pounds.
Oh my God.
But this is a guy who can log 20 minutes a game, and he can play on your PK. That's pretty good for a depth guy.
Yeah. I think another solid acquisition for Dallas here. Pretty cheap too.
Pretty cheap, and the fact that they got half of it retained.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they're only paying 1.5.
Right. Which I guess
for 1 year.
All right, new rule: if you're gonna do a deal with Dallas, you can't retain any salary. That's just
you got to charge an extra
GM rules.
Yeah, you got to charge an extra draft pick as well.
Right. Yeah.
Then we're all good.
But the kind of arms race between Colorado, Minnesota, Dallas,
crazy
leveling up. It's just goes back to, why is the playoff format the way it is. It would be
Right,
so much
right,
more
yeah,
interesting to see those teams not have to play each other in the first round and have to play someone else. Maybe they get upset, but it's way more drama to see those
yeah,
teams meet later in the playoffs, and also I think grows their rivalry more the later they make, right?
totally,
The higher the stakes, the more intensity you're going to see. But
totally.
that's not what this episode's about.
Yeah, we can have a whole episode about
Yeah,
playoff format, overtime rules. Man, I could go on for hours. So
right,
let's not
right.
go.
Yeah, let's move on. It happened a little while ago, but we
Maybe
both
one of the
wanted to talk
bigger,
about it.
yeah, maybe one
Yeah,
of the bigger trades of the season. I mean, obviously there was the Kaprizov signing, and then also the Hughes trade. So maybe not the biggest, but I think this was pretty substantial. Panarin to LA from New York for Green Tree, a 2026 third rounder, 2028 fourth rounder, and New York retained 5.82, basically half of his remaining salary. What a
it's
trade!
crazy.
What a
I can't believe
trade!
it. Like, I mean, I can believe it because New York, the Rangers suck this year, so they had to get rid of him. But like, they got rid of him for basically nothing.
Yeah, and they're like retaining a
That's
whole
nothing.
player worth of his salary, like a good player, not just like a bottom six. They're like
Yeah,
almost $6 million they're retaining. I do
yeah.
not understand it, but also
It's
we're not in the room there. We don't know how many
it's
people have said
because
no.
it's because Panarin had a full no trade clause,
Okay,
and so he was able to say where he wanted to go. And Chris Jury, the GM for New York Rangers, had to basically make
yeah.
whatever team work that Panarin specified, right? So
What are your thoughts on
Panarin said, "I want
no
to go
move
to LA."
clauses and all of that? You a fan? Do you think it hurts the game, benefits the game? You think players should basically be the ultimate say? I just find it kind of unique to hockey and very interesting because some of these players are just like, yeah, I'm not like I control all the cards. And I think it kind of erodes a little bit of just negotiations and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's in the NBA as well. Um, there's no move clauses in the NBA, and they can specify teams. I personally like them.
Okay.
I think it's a cool piece of leverage that a player has in contract negotiations. It's also, you can flip that and think of it as a cool piece of leverage from the organization standpoint too. Like, you might be
Right.
able to save $500,000 a year because you give a player a no trade clause
Yeah.
that they want, right? They want that stability. And so you're like, okay, we're going to pay you 10 million because you're only doing this with higher echelon players. So
Right.
it's like, we're going to pay you 7 instead of 7.5, or we're going to pay you 11 instead of 11.5 and have a no move, right? Um, and then I think it's something that, like, for the players, you know, I like it. I think that the players who are the best players at the sport in the world should have some sort of say over where they
Right.
get to play or where they play that sport, right? I would hate to see, Connor McDavid get traded to the Columbus Blue Jackets if
Right.
he didn't want to be there. And I say Columbus Blue Jackets because that's a super small market team that has very little draw to most of the rest of the country, right?
Yeah. Totally. I agree with
So
most of what you say, but I think it does get a little ridiculous when players are like basically every team is on their no trade. Like, I think there should be limits to it personally, but just an interesting topic. It's obviously gotten more and more a part of trades in the league over the last decade. So just
yeah,
super
and I mean, we're
interesting.
dealing with that. We'll talk about Trocheck down at the bottom, but we're dealing with that with Vinny Trocheck right now, where he's got a no trade clause in his deal, and he said, "I'm not going out to the West Coast at all,"
Yeah, and fair enough.
because
Like, we look at these
he
guys
doesn't
as
want to be
just
far
hockey
away from his
players,
family.
but yeah, these are humans. They they have families. They have things that they care about. So I look at it from the human aspect of, like, you know, no one wants to be forced to move their family to somewhere they absolutely
Right.
hate. And on the flip side, as a fan, I don't want players on the Avs that don't want to be there. Like I would rather
Right.
people who want to be there buy into the system, and it also kind of forces GMs and owners to put up their side of the deal. Like, hey, we will have good training facilities. We will
Yeah.
invest into the team. So yeah, I just think it's an interesting back and forth, and we could probably have a whole episode about about that as well. But I just like to
Yeah.
bring it up when we talk about trades because it is a huge part of the trade negotiations nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it. I think it's great on both sides.
Anyways,
But
back to
let's
Panarin,
let
back to the Kings. Is there anything else you want
yeah.
to chat about?
I just think the Kings got a total steal, and it's
Mhm.
like on one side it's a bummer because the Kings are totally irrelevant, and Panarin's never gonna be in important games the rest of his career because the Kings are going to be irrelevant the rest of Panarin's
His career.
career, basically.
Yeah.
And they might make the playoffs, but like they don't have the prospects, they don't have the players, they don't have
They don't
it.
have the assets. Yeah.
No. So unless some miracle happens where they sign some really high end free agents or something like that, it's just not happening for LA. And so from that perspective, I'm kind of like, why did you want to go there? That's a bummer.
Right. Big market.
But
Nice place.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I think LA is
totally,
nice. I think California is nice. So, who knows?
totally. But yeah, and then from New York's perspective, I'm like, you guys didn't get anything, and you retained
Yeah.
salary.
Yeah.
So this is like one of those trades where I'm like, this is like, I mean, it's a win for LA because Panarin is so good, but it's like also kind of a loss for LA because he has a really high contract.
Right.
Uh, like 11 million is a lot of money, and so you are maybe preventing yourself from retooling or entering a rebuild because you've committed to this guy
Definitely.
at 11
You're kind of
million.
just going to stay middle of the road now. Yeah.
Totally. So on one side, I feel like they've committed to purgatory, and on the other side, they've doubled down on purgatory they're already in because they didn't get any assets.
They're like, we're at least going to enjoy it while we're here.
Yeah, like I guess this is a deal where on both sides, I'm like, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, aren't you getting paid millions of dollars to do this job and you just blew it?
Yeah. Fair enough.
I don't
Fair
know.
enough. Yeah.
That's where I'm clearly not a GM. I'm just a dude yapping about hockey. And they are in the rooms, but this is
If
one where I'm
any
like,
GMs want to come
nobody
on the
did their job.
podcast, if any GMs want to come on the podcast and talk about it, we'd love to have you.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
We'd love to chat about it. So
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. But all right, well,
cool.
that kind of covers our trades that's happened. Let's move on to the third section and final section of our show today, which is a staying or going.
Staying or going.
So Kenny, in
Rapid
this
fire.
section, we're gonna rapid fire. I'm gonna go down a list of players, and you're gonna say staying or going, staying on their current team or getting moved out before tomorrow at 3 Eastern.
Okay.
All right, and I'm gonna say whether I agree or not. Okay, first player, Sergei Bobrovsky from the Panthers.
Going.
He's going.
He's going.
Where's he going?
A crazy thought, which I don't think it's possible, but a crazy thought would be, what if Sergei Bobrovsky ended up on the Edmonton Oilers team?
That's the crazy thought. That's what everybody's thinking. That's the one. It would be crazy.
But I don't think they could make that happen. So
yeah, send Connor Ingram and all sorts.
Yeah,
I'm going to disagree. I say Bobrovsky's staying. Okay. They're going to try to figure it out with him. Okay. Yeah. Jordan Kyrou, right wing, St. Louis Blues. Staying. Oh, I think you're right, but I would love for that deal with Nichushkin to. I'm like, you call up McFarland. Let's call
up C-Mac. He'll pick up.
I actually love Kyrou as a player. I think that would be awesome, but I do think he's staying. Sticking with the Blues because I think they're going to end up being sellers. Colton Parayko, defenseman, going. Any guesses of where?
Nah,
Did you see the headline today?
No, I didn't.
Of him, he apparently like turned down the Sabres. That there was kind of a trade deal in place, and Parayko nixed it and was basically like, "Nope, that's not happening."
Interesting. Yeah, I think he's staying.
Yeah, I hope he's staying because I don't think the Avs are going to move for him, and he's really good, and I feel like he's someone that like the Stars would try to get. And I don't
just stay on the Blues.
On the Stars. Yeah, like get out of here. All right, sticking with the Blues, Braden Shin.
Staying.
Staying. All right. So you just have Doug Armstrong holding tight with the St. Louis, basically. All
Well,
right. Yeah.
keep going. Next player.
Yeah, I agree with Jan Shen. I think he's
Okay.
staying. Next player is still on the Blues, Jordan Binnington.
I'm gonna say going, but I have this weird feeling that the Blues just love Bennington, and they'll do whatever it takes to keep him, even though he sucks.
Yeah,
So
he's not good this year.
if it were me, he's going.
Yeah.
But hey,
I think he's going. I think he's going too. I agree. I actually think that Edmonton is going to get sucked in and they're going to be like, we messed up trading for Jari and they're going to trade for Binnington. And then it's
just
going to be
a ruthless cycle.
Yeah, it's like Edmonton's going to be stuck with Binnington on the tail end of his career, and then
they'll be like, "But our defense is bad. It's not our."
But goalies. He played so good in the Four Nations. But all right, moving on. Morgan Rielly, defenseman, Toronto Maple Leafs.
This is a tough one. I think he's staying.
You think he's staying?
Yeah. It's tough with the Maple Leafs. I feel like they're sellers, but I mean, yeah, with all the talk about Matthews and we'll see.
I think he's going. I think he's going.
Okay.
They're going to keep Matthews. They're going to rebuild around him, but I think Morgan Rielly's going. All right, moving on. This one I think is an easy one. Alex Tuch, Buffalo.
He's going.
Oh, he's staying. What do you mean he's going?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Dude, yeah. All right, big time disagree on that one, but that's all right. I think there's no way Buffalo's touching their team because they're like,
that's like,
what are they? They're 7-2-1 in the last 10, and they've won 5 straight, and they're tied with Tampa for the lead in the Atlantic. There's no way they're going to let it roll.
Fair enough.
But if they go, I'll eat my words. Okay, moving on. Jordan Eberle.
He's staying. We've chatted about this guy. He's their top goal scorer, top point scorer.
Yeah.
A team that struggles to get points. How do you get rid of your best point getter? I think he's staying.
And they're somehow still in the playoff conversation. So it's like, yeah. Jaden Schwartz.
He's going.
He's going.
He's a goer.
Cracking or trading.
Yep.
Yeah. We'll see. I think Eberle and Schwartz are staying.
Okay.
Yeah. And which brings us to the next one with Shane Wright, center.
Going.
Cracking. Oh, you think he's going?
Yeah.
I love these takes.
The reason I say that, I just think that Seattle needs, I think they're similar to LA where they're like doomed in purgatory if they don't make moves. And maybe, So I don't know.
I think Shane Wright's staying for sure. He's young. He was their first kind of big draft pick. I think I agree with you with where Seattle's at, but I don't think the management in Seattle understands or realizes that. I think they feel that they're on the right path and that they just need to develop, and they're wrong. And Seattle's going to be in purgatory for another couple years and then finally blow it up.
Okay.
That's what I think. But all right, moving on. Elias Pettersson from Vancouver.
He's a goer.
He's got to go, right?
He's got to go.
Yeah. Like, what are you guys doing? You got to get rid of this guy. Anyways, okay. So he's a goer.
I feel like this team's pretty easy to choose. I mean, they're in the bottom of the bummer bin. They're like below. They're not even in the bummer bin. They're like below the bummer bin somehow.
Right. They broke the bottom out of the bummer bin.
Yeah. And they were good like 2 years ago. I'm so confused.
Yeah. Fluky year. All right, Evander Kane.
He's going. There's already been a lot of talks about trading him. They were talking about trading him to the Avs at one point. But
yeah,
I think he's going.
Yeah. All right. I think I agree that Kane's going. I think they're going to keep Pettersson, even though I want him to go. But they're gonna get rid of Kane.
Yeah, some of these are hard just because it's like,
right.
Like I think if they could, they would be going. But sometimes it just doesn't work to where it's possible for them to go, if that makes sense.
Right. There's not enough assets, or
Yeah,
the
or
trades
people
don't
just
make sense, or whatever.
yeah, just the market isn't quite, teams aren't looking for a center or they're not looking for a D man or
Right.
it's just I think certain things have to line up. And I don't
Right.
think Pedersen's actually going to go tomorrow, but I think if they could, they would trade
They
him for
would.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just to
I agree
say
with
that
that.
about all my answers, I think if the team could, they would, but I don't
Right.
necessarily think all of these are actually going to go through before tomorrow.
Right.
So
Right. All right. That's a good caveat. What about Jake DeBrusk from the Canucks?
I think he's a stayer.
Yeah, I think they're going to keep him as well. They like him. What about Connor Garland from the Canucks?
He's a stayer.
He's a stayer. I think he'd be a goer, but they're not going to find a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What about Nick Schmaltz from Utah?
I think he's going to stay. I think they're pretty happy with where they're at right now. So
Yeah.
I don't think they're looking to make a bunch of moves.
Yeah.
I mean, they just made the move. Yeah.
Yeah. Utah's a buyer this year. They're not
they're
trying
buying.
to sell. They're in it. What about Blake Coleman with the Calgary Flames?
He's a goer.
Oh, that would be a good piece to pick up if somebody could get
Totally.
him. I think he's a goer, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think that's one of those. And then in a similar category, what Nazem Kadri, we talked about him a bunch.
I think he's a goer, but he's in that situation where he has so many no trade clauses, and it's just a complicated piece to move. Because I don't think he wants to move to very many places. If I remember right, reading about him, I think he really just wants to go to contenders. So I think he's a goer if it could work out, but I don't think they're going to find something before tomorrow at 3, especially now that everything with the Avs has kind of fallen through.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in the same boat. I think he's a goer. I'm like honestly hoping they don't figure something out, because I have this terrible feeling in my being that Dallas or Minnesota is going to move for him.
They're going to get him.
And it's like, dude, if Dallas gets Kadri,
oh, fuck,
I'm going to freaking be so upset.
Can that be another rule in they can't pick up old Avs players? Can that just be also another rule? Because
after Rantanen, you're cut off.
And Duchesne and
yeah, totally. I'm into that rule. What about Jonathan Marchessault from Nashville?
I think he's going to stay, but I think he's a goer. He's getting old. I think they're looking to make moves and rebuild, but I don't think they're going to find someone.
Nashville, it seemed like, decided like yesterday that they were sellers. They were like, oh, yep, we lost a couple games after the Olympics.
Looks like we're selling. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Marchessault stays.
Okay. I think Ryan O'Reilly goes.
Yeah, I think Ryan O'Reilly is the big piece to move. And that's, again, like, I hope he doesn't end up with Dallas, because I was hoping that the Avs actually ended up with O'Reilly.
Same.
But I think he's a goer. All right. What about Steven Stamkos?
He's a goer. I think he's old. He's getting old. I know he's like embodies the Predators, but I think he's a goer.
Yeah. Crazy question. Does Stamkos end up back on the Lightning?
Oh, that is a crazy question. I hope not.
Right?
They don't need any more help. Yeah. They are looking really fucking good.
Yeah, I think they're a bit strapped to be able to afford it. All right, next up, staying or going, Vincent Trocheck.
He's going.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. East Coast. We'll see what happens. I'd love to see him in Montreal.
I think it's another one. Like, all of these are super tricky. Again, with no trade clauses and just finding a team that isn't on that list. Like, it just gets more and more exponentially more complicated with some of these players. And so while we say they're goers, doesn't actually mean they're going to get traded before tomorrow.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah. Okay. Second to last one, Alexis Lafreniere.
Going.
Rangers. Going. I think they're going to keep him. He's on the younger side. I don't know. I think he's cool. I don't know.
Yeah, he's cool.
I'm just like, that guy's cool.
Yeah, he is cool. I like him. I like him too.
Okay, I put this one in as a wild card.
I
Last
think this
one.
one's kind of obvious, but
Yeah, Jesper Wallstad.
he's going.
He's going.
He's going.
You think it's obvious he's going?
I think it is. He's worth so much. Gustafson is playing absolutely insane. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, if it was me, I would keep him and get rid of Gustafson, but just because he's younger, but he's not proven. So it's a weird one. But that kid is so fucking good in net. And
Yeah.
honestly, it would be a shame to see him. I mean, I guess he's splitting time, but he is the second, he is the B goalie. So
Gustafson's the starter.
yeah. So I think it would just be a shame for him to always live in Gustafson's shadow. I would love to see him traded, and I think he's worth enough assets, especially to the right team, Oilers.
Yeah.
Someone might pay a pretty penny for that guy. So
Dude, if the Oilers got
it would be
Wallstead,
nuts.
they would be so stoked. Oh my God.
The league isn't ready for that.
Oh my God. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. I like want to see that just because it's so
I know.
crazy.
I know.
Yeah, I think he's staying with Minnesota, but I think they're going to figure it out in the summer. I think
Okay.
they're going to see what happens with the playoffs and then make a call of if they're keeping Gustafson or if they're keeping Wallstead.
Yeah.
Because they have a great piece, but I think they got to let it ride this year, and they've invested too much this year to have like a goalie injury
Right.
derail them, right? Like, what if Gustafson gets hurt the last day of the season, and then you traded Wallstead, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, now
No,
we have
you're
a
right.
very
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
a below average backup, So they're going to keep him, and then they'll figure it out in the off season. Yeah. So, man,
Hey,
what
fun.
a wild time! What a wild time in the league. That was fun. Yeah. Let's see what happens tomorrow. As always, hit the like, give us subscribe, follow our social media channels, leave comments. We'd love to hear what you think about the trade deadline. This has been yet another presentation from Sports,
a network.
I'm Scramble James.
I'm Kenny S. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We really appreciate it.
Right on. Have a great day, everybody. See you later.
See you.